Hey everyone, welcome to Car Pros. My name is Ryan and today I'm going to show you how to replace the driver's side mirror on a 2005 Ford Focus. Now the passenger side is pretty much exactly the same but on the other side of the car, so things are basically mirrored on that side, but the process is identical. The reason we're covering the driver's side mirror is because it is the most popular one. Typically if you're going to replace a mirror, it's going to be the driver's side because it's opened and shut the most. And when you're parking on the street, they tend to kind of get ran into more than the passenger side. So that's why we're covering that. As you'll see, ours happen to be run into as well. This is a super easy, simple, straightforward repair that is going to save you tons of money by doing it yourself and ordering the part. The link is down below in the description for the one we use today as well as the passenger side. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in. Alrighty, so it looks like my 2005 Ford Focus was the victim of maybe a bicycle rider that got a little too close to my car. But this is my daily driven vehicle, so I needed to be up and running as soon as possible. So what we need to do is act like we're replacing this, so it would be the same procedure if it looked like this, and if like you needed to replace this glass or something, you might be able to just replace that panel, but I think it comes in as a unit very, very inexpensively. And then also, this is the manual controlled version, so if you had an electrically controlled one, these would be electrical wires instead of wires that actually physically move the mirror, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a little bit. So if you open the door on this Ford Focus, you can see this is our control knob because this is not electric, and this actually physically moves the mirror instead of using electrics. And the way you remove this is you just pull forward and then to the side, just like that, very easily. You can see the clips you're basically defeating go into there, and then we can remove the part that actually holds it to this trim piece. And then in our case it'll just fall off, but in your case you'll probably have to remove some bolts, and I will show those. So once you get to this step, it's actually deceptively easy, and again, if you have electric, it's going to look a little bit different. I actually believe it's a little bit easier. There'll be an electrical connector about here, and then it has a safety that you just depress and kind of wiggle apart. But if you have manual like this, you might be looking at this and go, well, how the heck does this come off? Do you just peel it off or pry it off? No. What you do is grab the base, support this, and if you care about your paint on the outside and your mirror's hanging off, keep an eye on that, or maybe get somebody to hold it so it doesn't mar the paint up. And then you just grab the base of it and rotate it like a nut coming off of a bolt. And look at that. You take that trim piece off, and there it is. And for us, we can actually remove our old mirror because there's nothing holding it on. And there we go, there's our old mirror. You can see the plastic's all busted and effectively useless, so this goes in the trash. But there are some bolts and some hardware we need to get out so we can mount the new mirror. So where we're going to be focusing is right here. Just there, inside of there. My fingertip is on it right now. There is what I believe is a 10mm bolt, pretty sure it is. And we need to remove that. And I'm sorry if I get in the way. We can just grab a 10mm socket and ratchet. And then, while we're removing this bolt, keep an eye on the outside on the mirror, because these are only held in with this 10mm, and then don't drop the bolt down the door. So the fastener is free. I'm just holding with my fingers on the other side. I'm going to maneuver it gingerly through the door. This is kind of a special fastener. It might be really difficult to find this somewhere. I'm sure you could order it online. And then what's left of my mirror piece is free. This is where your mirror would normally come out, and check this out. Look, on my piece, because it's broken, there's a Phillips head screw. So there is most likely on yours, because it's probably not broken, somewhere down here, you might have to look for it, there's going to be that Phillips head screw you're going to have to remove to get your mirror off. But that doesn't look too difficult. So I'm going to remove that so we can put it on our new hardware. So here's that piece I just showed you. That is basically the outside of the driver's mirror that's been totally busted off. And it looks like maybe at some point somebody tried to fix it, or maybe this is the old insulation. I don't know. But here is our new unit. So you can see the similarities where mine broke off from somebody hitting it. It goes on like that. It looks like maybe even there's another screw right here, but this doesn't look, this kind of doesn't look factory. I'll remove it anyway, and if there's a spot for it, we'll put it back, but it kind of just looks like somebody maybe Mickey Moused this together at some point. I could be wrong, but it's just the way it looks. I've worked on Fords for a while, and that does not look like an OEM Ford fastener. That looks like somebody just sunk that in. I bought the car used, so it's possible this mirror, the stock mirror, has been off before. That is a distinct possibility, because on the installers they only show 2 fasteners. One goes here, and one goes here. So I'm not sure where this one that came out of mine went. So maybe just ignore that one. I don't think that's OEM. So this is our new unit. Link down below in the description for driver and passenger. They are the same procedure, only reversed. So this is our new unit, and then, you know, maybe just test it, make sure that you can grab the little knob and look around with it, and it works, which it does. It works perfectly, so that's nice. It also came with some insulation. A car this old and this rattly to begin with, you probably wouldn't notice, but I'm going to go ahead and install it anyway, because I think it'll look nice. It just kind of goes on like this, and the holes line up all nice. And there you go. So the big one goes in the big hole, and the smaller one goes in the smaller hole. Now, I did see on the installers that sometimes this can be a Torx. If I had to guess, it'd be like a T20 Torx or something like that. But you're going to have to look. And again, this could even be not a Ford OEM fastener. This could very well be something some body shop put on, you know, 15 years ago that I'm just not aware of. But on the Ford installers thing, it did show a Torx. But there's a Phillips head here. I prefer the Phillips head. Makes it a little easier on us, but I just wanted to mention that in case you're at that stage and you're kind of wondering what the heck, because yours is a Torx or something. So now we get to do the fun part and put it back on. Back over at the door, looking straight down at it, we can grab our controls and feed them through the hole they came out of. And again, if you have electrical, this is even easier, because it won't fight you as hard as this one might. I found it's helpful to kind of get it halfway. You can kind of see it sticking out just there. And then you just kind of grab the joystick. Don't pull on it too hard, you don't want to snap it, but you have to kind of maneuver it. It might be a little frustrating for you, and I know you guys can't see, I do apologize, but sometimes that's the way photo shoots work. There we go. I found it helpful to kind of bend it this way, so it does this, and then comes up. That seemed like to be the key for me. And then on the outside of the door, you can see that there are holes that correspond with tangs on the mirror. So that's just going to go into their homes. If it's not lining up, jiggle it around a little bit. And so it does line up like that. That looks fantastic. So we can go on the inside and replace the fasteners. So I found where that fastener is supposed to go, our Phillips head screw, or maybe it's a Torx in your case. It goes right there. So I was kind of worried that the head of this screw was too small, so it would just pull through again and not really do anything. And that's just a result of the accident. Yours would go back together just fine. All right, make sure all your holes are lined up. Nice and easy. Let's start our Phillips head here, just because it's going to be a whole heck of a lot easier to install than the big one. So just install this screw here snugly. It doesn't need to be Hulk tight or anything, just so it holds it in place so we can get the big fastener in. And this one might be a tad tricky, just because it's kind of at a weird angle. You kind of can't see what you're doing. So just feed it in through that hole. We're going to get a ratchet and spin it until it starts tightening. Remember, these are metal screw threads going into plastic. Be gentle. So once it starts feeling tight, stop and check on it. You don't want to pop the plastic threads off. If I find a Torx spec, I'll put it on screen, but honestly, I'm not sure you'd get a torque wrench in here. That seems pretty tight. There we go. Yeah, look on the outside, maybe tug on the mirror just a small amount. Seems pretty stout to me. So on this 10 millimeter, just snug, and then, you know, maybe wrist tight, and then wrist tight on this screw as well. Don't go crazy. If you're worried about putting this back in incorrectly, it's actually impossible to do because, so in the plastic trim piece, you can see there's 2 timers, one there, and then there's another one that intrudes, and that's gonna match up right there on the groove of the side of the joystick. We can just put that in. It's a lot easier when it's not moving. So we want to put it in like this with that groove right there, so that way up means up, left means left, and right means right. We just put that back on, that little joystick hat. That will seat it into position. Double check, make sure it works. It does. And then we can put this back on. And then we can put our plastic piece back on. You're going to feed the cables down into the door. And then you see this piece right here? That's going to feed in right here. And we're going to aim for that first. There we go. So that tang went in like this first, and then you're going to grab the body of it and swing it back into place like that. And there you go. That's literally how... And there we go. That's literally how it goes back on. It's pretty simple. So that is how to replace your driver's side door mirror on a 2005 Ford Focus. It is really simple and straightforward. And honestly, don't take it to a mechanic to do this kind of work. Anyone can do this with very minimal toolage. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.